And we'll move over to another sport that has prominent loyal fans. None more so than Arsenal fans who have continued to voice several times every year that we don't do enough Arsenal coverage. The reason why maybe last year is I held off on this clip because Arsenal had decent spells last year, is I just didn't see enough oomph. That's the only word I can find in my dictionary to describe what Arsenal has this year. So yeah, they don't have everything solved up top. They don't have everything solved in the middle of the park. They have some issues there. But what they do have this year, which I can say on record that I've noticed more so in the last 2, 3, 4 games, they have a winning mentality. Yesterday's game, despite it was against Ludogorets, who people are like, they should have beat Ludogorets. Look at their Champions League records last year. Look how many times they slipped up against lesser opponents. This year, Arsenal have a little bit something different. That's why the title of the clip is Arsenal are different this year. They don't care whether they're banging in 4-5-1. That's still all well and good, and they'll still do it. But if they have to drag out a result in a last-minute moment of brilliance by Mesut Ozil, that's what you need to win games. That's what Leicester did to win the title last year. So yes, this year I can boldly say, without hiding from the audience, hiding from the fans, and being called a bandwagoner, no, I will criticise Arsenal when the time comes, but at the moment, they look different.
See, you're doing great there. You did great for that whole part, and then just at the end, just at the finish line.
I can't give them just full compliments.
At the finish line, you go, I'll criticize them when the time comes. What if that time doesn't come?
Then I'll congratulate them for the rest of the season.
Do you know who's a gooner?
Who?
Hillary Clinton.
She is?
You didn't hear this? Oh. No, it's not. Hold on. Let me just.
It was through an email.
Before people freak out at me, there was no leaked emails about her being a Gunners fan. It had to do with she was at a rally recently, and she walked into a pub to get I think lunch or something like that, and it happened to be like a Arsenal hub in Florida. They have here's the thing.
Yeah, there's fan pubs.
I don't know if people in London, or not just London, but the UK and Europe know this altogether. Around America, right? There are, if you look up on the wonderful Google, and you want to find if you're a United supporter or an Arsenal supporter, you just look up on the internet, and there'll be places where the fans will call certain bars on Saturday mornings, this is an Arsenal bar.
There's a Celtic one.
There's a Celtic
bar.
Right
in Culver City.
It's really cool. It's actually something that is good for growing the Premier League.
You need it, yeah.
The Premier League here in America, amongst other ones. There's Barcelona bars. That's actually, the Barcelona bar is the one that we go to for the Champions League final.
especially when it comes to UK teams, when you have to wake up at crazy o'clock, you don't seem as insane when you're waking up at 4 with everyone else around you drinking beer.
You don't feel as bad.
You don't feel oh my God, am I the only guy in the world drinking a beer at 6 a.m.?
Beer and biscuits.
Someone goes nah mate, I've been here since 3 in the morning.
Element number 6 is the Premier.
Look at that
League
form. Look at that form.
Save for Liverpool, no one's got more green.
All right, Jason, here comes the first Premier League test of the new season. As you can see, yes, Arsenal's next game is against Spurs. What do we call that? It's a simple
the
term.
North London Derby?
Yeah!
Actually, let's go to the UCL form, which is great, and then I want to share a very quick story about how geographically stupid I am. Arsenal FC, right there, 3-1.
Both of them qualified.
12 points. They can punt the next couple of games. Again,
they're going to fight for the first.
Even if they only picked up 1 point and they had 8, while Ludogorets had 2, it wouldn't. That's what stood out to me so much about their recent Champions League match. It wasn't like they needed the points going into the next set, the last 2 games, week 5 and 6 of the group stage. It was the fact that they wanted to do it now. Mm-hmm. We're down 2-0. We're in a bad situation. Doesn't matter. We're not going to just give up on this one. And I also thought Arsene Wenger, I'm not sure if this was humor or not. I'm going to pretend it was, because so many of these managers could be very robotic, very Jose Mourinho, Louis van Gaal. This is his quote about Mesut Ozil's goal to win the game. To me, it didn't look like the optimal solution, but when the ball was in the net, I thought it was. And he goes on to say, great players make the right decisions, yada, yada. I just thought
what a goal that was.
I know, but I just think it's the funniest first sentence. It's very self-aware to be like, look, man, I thought that was a bad idea. And then it hit the back of the net, and I was like, that was a great, great idea.
Yeah, it's... And you're exactly right. If you look at the result they had against Ludogorets before this game, they devoured them. One of my favourite words, devoured, someone pointed that out in the comment section. Devoured them at the Emirates. And then they played them again away from home. And in what people would assume Arsenal fashion, they make it a lot harder of a task than what it should have been. Mm-hmm. And they struggle, and it results in a Mesut Ozil last-minute goal. But that's okay, because those games have to happen. If those happen 6, 7, 8 times in a row, you're like, oh, you're skating on thin ice. But no,
Leicester skated on thin ice for a lot of matches last year.
Towards the end of the season. So the Champions League form compared to last year, 100% better, of course, because last year they never even...
Does Arsenal now full steam ahead to focus on the Premier League for the next couple weeks? Or are they after the Champions League? What would they rather see?
I think they
One's
want...
more realistic.
Yeah, okay. I think they want to finish first. I think everyone wants to finish first in their group, so they're going to be. They still have to play PSG at home in the Emirates. They want to prove that they can win that game. FC Basel is always a banana peel for English clubs, so I think they're going to focus on it. I think that the one thing you don't want to do is overthink things. And as much as everyone around them wants them to, as you see from the Football Republic's tweet saying November is coming, because it's notoriously the month where Arsenal struggle to gain the most points. It's the lowest average points per game ratio in comparison to the rest of the months in the year. So everyone's going to be reminding them of that. Everyone, especially in the media, they take pride in pushing the envelope to annoy teams like Arsenal, or teams like Man City, or teams like Man United. Man City were in turmoil. They seemed fine against Barcelona. Arsenal, they get it a lot more than anyone else, and at times it's deserved because Arsene Wenger's so stubborn.
You?
Yeah, true.
You give it to them.
They haven't won the league in so long. They missed golden opportunity after golden opportunity. But whilst they're doing well, I'm going to give them credit. They've made it seem like they don't need a star striker because Alexis Sanchez is playing out of his mind in both Premier League and in play.
And grew.
Mesut Ozil, Walcott's scoring phenomenal goals as well.
We talk about this every 2 weeks. We keep saying, yeah, Walcott's still doing really well.
Yeah.
It's every 2 weeks.
So what it's going to prove is, against Tottenham, is a big indicator as to what Arsenal we are seeing this year. Against your opponents, fierce rivals, how do you play against a team like that? It's going to be interesting because Arsenal seemed to me like they adapted a little bit. They suffered a minor blip against Liverpool at the start of the season. Look how different they approached Chelsea. Yes. They had fire in their belly. They went out and they proved they actually changed Chelsea's season for them. They could be as much to credit for that as Antonio Conte because they went, hey, Chelsea, wake up. And then they changed it, and all of a sudden Chelsea are on a great run.
I like Chelsea this year.
So,
too. But,
they're on a good run.
Arsenal versus Tottenham.
Looking forward to it.
2-2 draw.
2-2 draw?
2-2 draw.
I think Arsenal are going to take it 2-1.
No.
Interesting.
It's definitely not going to happen.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks for tuning in to our lovely show on TYT Sports with our plethora of great stories, as you see right here. Make sure to subscribe. It goes a long way. Jason Rubin 91 on Twitter, Francis_Maxwell on Twitter, Francis Maxwell Host on Instagram, and Jason Rubin 91. We appreciate all the love, all the follows, all the comments, all the likes, even the criticisms. We'll see you guys soon.